Hello, I'm Tim Loughton, MP for East Worthing and Shoreham, and welcome to the latest of my video podcasts. This is the first video podcast since the general election, since when I've been very busy in my new position as the Minister for Children and Families. But I'm very keen to carry on this exercise of keeping in touch with my constituents and, more importantly, getting your views back on things that are going on with the new government. Now, I just want to talk about three main things today, and as usual, there's a series of questions, a survey attached to this podcast where I really appreciate your feedback. I want to talk about the big spending challenge, I want to talk about the big society, and I want to talk about the big problem we have with too many laws and regulations in this country. Now, I'm here at Ada Civic Centre, one of the seats of local government in my constituency, and the first thing I want to talk about is the big spending challenge. We all know the biggest challenge facing our country at the moment is the economy and the high level of debt, £950 billion worth of debt. And we all know we're going to have to take some quite drastic measures to reduce that level of debt. So how can we get better value from our public services? How can we spend less but keep up the standard and the quality of the public services that many people rely on? Are there areas of public services that government actually shouldn't be involved in? Should the voluntary sector, the community, be doing more? How can we provide services more efficiently and cost effectively? Now, David Cameron has launched the big spending challenge. Many people have already written in, many people have emailed me with their suggestions about this. Again, I want to hear from you as to where you think money's being wasted and how you think we could do things for better value just as efficiently or even more efficiently in the future. The second thing I want to talk about is the big society. What is big society? We've heard a lot about it in the run-up to the election, and it's a major theme again of the new coalition government. Well, to me, the big society is all about everyone feeling part of the local community and being empowered and emboldened to come forward and do their bit. Big challenges facing this country at the moment, not just economically but socially, and we all have a role in trying to help bring about the improvements that we need in this country. It's all about the localism agenda as well. I think there's been a criticism in the past of all governments that there's been too much centralisation, that local councils feel disempowered, and local electors feel that actually it doesn't make much difference whether you vote or not, and local councils don't have much power anyway. Well, that's got to change. How can we make sure that people feel that their voice, their concerns matter and are being taken on board? How can local people interact with local councils like Ada and Worthing to get better value for their council tax, but also to make sure that they are being listened to and they're not just bashing their head against a brick wall? How can we reinvigorate the local democratic process? How can we get the voluntary sector, local communities, grassroots, really on board with bringing about the real changes and improvements we need in our society, not just economically, but socially as well, the many challenges that we face. Now, the third area I want to talk about is all about clearing the landscape of unnecessary laws and regulations. Every minute, every day, we seem to have some regulation or law that affects our lives, and many of us think that actually the government, the state, plays too big a role in too many people's lives, whether it be central government or whether it be local councils as well, with health and safety regulations, vetting and barring, CRB checks, regulations on business, all those sort of things. So in the autumn we'll be producing a freedom bill, which is going to be a bonfire of a whole load of unnecessary regulations. Today, in fact, we've just abolished the contact point children's database, part of my responsibility as Minister for Children. We thought that was a completely unnecessary computer system, expensive computer system, which had the details of every single child in this country, whether or not they approved or their parents approved of it. We think that's Big Brother state. We think that was completely disproportionate for child protection, actually counterproductive. So that's gone. What other things do you think that we don't need? What other laws and regulations could we be better off without, that they're causing too many obstacles in people's lives rather than allowing people to go about their everyday business? So three subjects really today. How can we save money and make sure we can protect as many services and produce them more efficiently given the severe financial constraints we've got in the future? Secondly, the big society. How do you think we can include more people, get more people to come forward and do their bit to engage with their neighbours, with their communities, to bring about more of a community spirit as well, to again produce local services rather better. And thirdly, how can we get rid of a whole load of laws? I think the many years has been all about just adding more laws, adding more regulations to the statute book, and actually, do we need that many laws and regulations? Again, many people have written to me already with suggestions for what we can get rid of. Let me have your views. Saving money, promoting the big society, we're all in it together, and getting rid of excessive laws and regulations. As usual, I want to hear your views. 10 questions in my survey. Feel free to elaborate on that more if you want to write to me. All the details are on my website, email, post, come to public meetings that I shall be running on this subject over the autumn. So thank you for listening, and I very much look forward to hearing your views.